Hello, and we're back in the middle of a game between Oshni and Querzi. So Oshni is on the Naya, or I guess Molten EHS deck. It's Naya deck that runs a bunch of cantrippy spells, I guess, and a bunch of enchantments that benefit off casting spells. It also runs EHS, as it says in the name. And Herzi is running 4-color control, or I guess Mishka control, which is 4-color control with confirmed hypothesis plus shifting lands, and then Hungering Cult plus Mishka.
Yeah, so we see kind of light land hand from Oshni, but Abundant Harvest, the anti-defined land. And on the other side, we see Herzi on Hungering Cult plus some Pith Wilts and the confirmed hypothesis.
Well, Hungering Cult coming down. Wait, Herzi's not using confirmed hypothesis now.
Yeah, that's nothing to ramp into, right?
Well, yeah, but you might draw something. I feel like playing Hungering Cult out first is weird, at the very least.
I don't mind it. Start buffing your life total and knocking down your opponents.
Yeah, I guess. I guess Oshni's deck is pretty damage-based.
Yeah. Molten EHS kind of has a bit of difficulty winning very quickly, especially with these Pith Wilts in Herzi's hands. But yeah, I don't know. Confirm also has some utility here with copying triggers off Molten Incubation.
And performance, I guess.
Yeah, and the third mode of performance. It does just steal Molten Incubation, right? If you have the timing right.
Depends on which mode you're copying.
Oh, actually,
yeah, it's modal, so you choose on, you copy the same mode. So I guess you get 5/5, yeah.
Yeah, sacrificing isn't part of the box, right?
And sacrifice it and choose one. Actually, I'm not sure.
Regardless, at the very least, copying the third mode of performance is very strong.
Yeah. Although, what's Herzi want to copy with, or what's Herzi want to get back with performance?
That's a good question.
What big spells do they even have?
I mean, even your small spells are pretty scary. Void Flare.
Right.
I guess Cosmic Coalescing and Confirm Hypothesis not going to the graveyard is kind of annoying.
Well, maybe Herzi discards them somehow.
Yeah.
Because
it looks like
Herzi has plenty of stuff that does mill cards.
Yeah, so it looks like Oshni's getting a turn 3 EHS here.
Pretty standard. They don't have Mystery out yet. They just not play Mystery.
Didn't have the time to. They've spent all their mana so far.
Okay.
Maybe there's probably consideration of going like Mystery into Breach the Lilies on end of turn to cast Abundant Harvest, which will fit Mystery.
Yeah.
But just playing at EHS here is fine. EHS doesn't reveal, not that it matters, but yeah, as he points it out.
Right. Well, I mean, that's a pretty good hit off EHS. The performance, they're not going to get the trigger because it's second each turn. But they're going to get the impulse draw, at least. They're going to Void Flare face instead of playing Journey Begins.
Yeah, that seems kind of suspect, especially with this Void Flare in hand.
Yeah.
They also really need lands here.
Right.
Like, it might not look like it being an EHS deck, but this deck is very expensive.
Well, next turn they can breach the Lilies for Abundant Harvest if they're desperate enough.
I mean, you can, but I don't think you really want to be doing that when you could also, when Breach the Lilies also hits like Molten Incubation, Performance of Lifetime.
Yeah.
I mean, Mystery of Craft too.
So it seems like Herzi's thinking about whether to use Confirm on the land or on something else. If they don't confirm here, then they're wasting mana. But maybe they want to copy Incubation or Performance triggers.
Yeah, the mana is definitely a bit awkward here with Shifting Craig. I guess it's not too bad, but this mountain not happening for Pithwilt is a bit awkward. But they do confirm here, they will let them have double Pithwilt up.
And they probably want the double Pithwilt here too, because Molten Incubation is going off soon. Although they can just Pithwilt the dragon that comes out, so it doesn't really matter.
Pithwilt's one of the few very clean answers to basically everything, all of this deck's threats. Cleans up Goth as well, if Goth gets brought in.
Right.
Kills EHS Coalesce.
And Herzi's not going to confirm the land.
It's time to save it for something else.
Well, I mean, they draw more lands, so I guess, yeah, that's fine. They have Pithwilt mana now, right? Or double Pithwilt mana with the Sunlit Highlands.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. With the fetch they do.
So Hungry Cult comes swinging in. Actually, is going to have to deal with the Hungry Cult eventually, right? Like they have to burn 2 removal spells on it, or 2 burn spells on it.
Yeah, I think it's probably best to clean up sooner rather than later. Like the mana is a bit awkward here, so they can't Soul Flare plus Void Flare to clean up the cult without double red.
If you're desperate enough, you can just pop Molten Incubation on Hungry Cult. But that's like really desperate.
Yeah, I don't even necessarily. Oh, that's a good draw.
Okay,
I don't even
wonderful.
necessarily mind that because one of the things that Herzi is playing is Restart's Command, which is pretty scary. And 14 is kind of like if Hungry Cult hits again, then Restart's Command is lethal. I guess
Yeah.
it's lethal now, even.
I mean, you can always Solar Flare in response to Restad's command, at least.
That's true.
But maybe Oshni is just allergic to Solar Flares. Oh yeah, did you like see the round 1 game where they just didn't Solar Flare against the Hounds deck?
Oh, yeah, that was really sad. But they have like 4 Solar Flares in hand between Breach the Lilies and the original copy.
Yeah.
So lots of choices here for Oshni.
They're definitely thinking.
So you have a lot of things going on with this Molten Incubation, the Solar Flare that you off performance that you need to cast or else it gets lost.
So there's Solar Flare in face.
Face? I feel like that definitely implies Molten Incubation blowing up the board here.
Well, if Oshni doesn't blow up the board, then RZ copies it and gets a dragon.
Yeah, I think this seems like a pretty big fumble.
Oh no, Oshni decides to make a dragon. That's not good.
Um,
Wait, did Hershey just tap out Pithwell? Or no, they're not confirming. What?
I mean, I guess they can Pith Wilt the incubation, and then no, this is a big mistake because Oshni can. Assuming this is Pith Wilting the incubation, because Oshni can just cast another spell in response to crack the incubation again.
Well, I guess that does work. But does Osh know about the interaction? They can just Solar Flare again, I guess. Make up for all the Solar Flares that they didn't cast in their round 1 game.
You actually need to make a choice every time you put a counter on Molten Incubation.
I actually don't know.
Doesn't seem to matter here. So it seems like Austin does kind of know if the topping lands, so they can crack it again. It's also possible that Herzi is trying to bait out another spell.
Maybe point in doing that?
Makes Austin tap out, so then they can confirm the dragon trigger.
Right. Actually, yeah, that does make sense.
So that seems really risky. So definitely if Herzi had like a Versailles command in hand, that'd be pretty decent play.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel like a solid play without Versailles command in hand. I don't know.
Well, I mean, what else is Herzi going to do here?
I mean, not Pithwilt in response to the trigger.
Okay, yeah, good point. So maybe they just don't want the dragon then? Like, they'd rather not have the dragon, but they're gonna get the dragon if their Pithfield plan fails. Like, maybe they'd rather copy the performance trigger, but now they're kind of forced to copy the incubation trigger.
Well, they're not forced to copy the incubation trigger, right?
I mean, would you turn down a 5/5 for 2 mana that also draws you a card?
I mean, the drawing the card is separate from copying the trigger, right?
Right. Well,
It's like it does turn on all of Oshni's removal. Granted, Herzi doesn't actually know that Oshni's on mono removal.
Herzi also has Hungry Cult, so it's already getting. They already have a removal target.
Yeah, that's true. But this performance is going to be taking up to 3 next turn, or very likely to.
Well, I mean, performance is going to copy EHS.
Not if Oshni doesn't have 5th land.
What? I mean, yeah, I guess that.
Yeah, because to get 2 spells, you need 2 mana. And performance on Void Flare is a pretty natural line that cleans up the dragon.
Yeah. I was actually still thinking.
Yes. Just casting another Soul Flare here seems pretty natural.
Maybe they're going through a bunch of lines that we're not thinking about. I mean, like, maybe they're thinking about Breach Lilies on Abundant Harvest or something to get them their 5th land so that next turn they can performance on EHS or something.
Have they played a land this turn? Yeah, they have. Yeah, I guess casting another burn spell here does mean they can't answer the Hungering Calls, but it feels pretty obvious that Austin just doesn't care about Hungering Calls.
Okay, there is a Solar Flare, and yeah, there's Solar Flare face. So all this decision making just to make the obvious play. And Herzi's going to copy the incubation trigger. So it seems like the game just played out exactly as we predicted.
So, if I'm understanding correctly, that both players will get a dragon?
Well, I'm not sure.
It's not dependent on sacrificing, right?
Then if it's so you need 5 or more counters on it. Wait,
Oh, right,
then
I
it
guess
has.
it's dead, right?
I'm not. Then it has 5 counters. Is it exactly 5 counters, or is it just at least 5 counters? I think it's at least 5 counters, right?
Well, it doesn't have 5 counters on it anymore because it's dead.
Right. Wait. So that. Huh.
But Confirm does steal it.
Okay. So I guess the pith vote there was to bait out Oshni's second spell. So they didn't have to have pith vote or Oshni's dragon. Oh, and Restad's command.
And then this Restad's command is not actually lethal.
You gain a lot of life off Solar Flare.
Yeah.
In fact, Oshni might even just copy Solar Flare next turn if Herzi goes for Restad's command just to gain their life back.
Yeah, but this feels like a fumble.
For who?
For Oshni.
What should have they done?
I think the heads up play is Molten Incubation just dealing 20, leading into the Confirm Hypothesis. But even without that, just killing the Green Cult.
Right, pith vote hits
really
performance.
It makes sense. I think Restad's command isn't doing lethal here.
So there goes Oshni's plan for play for next turn.
But it definitely feels like I definitely don't feel like you need to be rushing at a dragon here, considering how many answers Herzi has to Pithwell or has to the dragon.
Yeah, exactly. Herzi's deck is almost mono removal instead of counter spells, which is actually pretty weird for a blue-based control deck.
And now here you have what? The line is basically necessarily Mystery, Breach on a Solar Flare, Void Flare the dragon.
Did that flip Mystery?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Breach flips. No, it doesn't, sorry. Because all the burn spells are sorceries. But it's like instants.
Yeah. Well, worst case scenario, the Mystery token can chump block. But they do need to kill the dragon.
Yeah, it definitely does feel like this dragon needs to die.
Dragons need. Oh. You get breach back in performance. I guess that works.
Yeah, because I guess the performance trigger still happened. So this breach only costs 1 mana.
More, no more. Is that that gets back both an incubation or a land?
Yeah, in this case it might be a bit of a trap. But no, sorry, more no more does put Mystery too.
Yeah,
interesting.
Too bad Mystery doesn't. Mystery has summoning sickness right now, or else they could have gotten 2 Mourns.
So what you can more no more. Your targets are Incubation or Amber Hills. Incubation will be really greedy here. Because basically you're just saying that you don't respect Restad's command.
Yeah, but maybe Oshi's just not playing around it because they're not really thinking about that. Like, they're mostly thinking about their own plays.
Yeah, but at the same time, Incubation does blow up. It's Epsilon that will flip off the more normal.
Blow up? You mean just make a dragon, right?
Yeah, I guess they can make a dragon, but
they're gonna breach Abundant Harvest.
I feel like they kind of need to deal with this dragon somehow.
Well, it seems like they'd rather flip the Mystery. So, thoughts about that?
I feel like this is just a lot of disrespect for everything Herzi's doing.
So Oshi's basically playing as if Herzi was a counterspell deck when Herzi is actually a removal deck. Is that what you're saying?
Well, like, obviously we know about this Restad's command, but even when Herzi didn't have it in hand, it's like, this is a card you need to be worried about. And now Oshni's just dead, right?
Yeah.
Well, like, definitely there's some decks that, like, giving them a free dragon is whatever. And you're just like, yeah, you clean it up in a couple turns and be fine about it.
Oshni's going to use Void Flare to trade with Hungering Cult.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid line. Obviously, that isn't going to work because this Restad's command is just lethal. But
I mean, it would have worked if Herzi didn't have Restad's command, basically.
Yeah, but the thing is that, like, you're not winning very fast, right?
Yeah.
So eventually you're just going to lose to Restad's command. And even if that worked, you don't have any answers to the dragon because you're left with only this multi-incubation hand.
Right. This is another game where Oshni lost because they didn't Solar Flare enough.
Definitely there's, like, a lot of play to this game. Like, I think this matchup in general is just very, like, intricate. But definitely giving your opponent a dragon and not trying to answer it at all seems a bit disrespectful.
Right. Well, look at the sideboard now. So on the Herzi side,
They get
they have
because we doubt.
they have 4
And
anti-magic, and that's all the counter spell they have.
do you want counter spells in this matchup?
I mean, you're playing against a spell-based deck, right? No, Guiding Light. It has 1 Guiding Light, and that's gonna shut down everything that Oshni is going to
Yeah, I
do.
don't know. Yeah, Guiding Light's prob. Is Guiding Light a good prod to bring in? I don't even know.
Yeah. Well, look at Oshni's side. They have Imperial Siege, and that's coming in, definitely.
Yeah, Imperial Siege is definitely the main answer in this matchup. Embodied Soul is another card you could bring in.
Dice to Pithwell.
I mean, so everything
Dice to
dies
pull is
Pithwell.
away, right? Does pull away hit enchantments?
Yeah.
Yes.
No mind.
Like, Embodied Soul is usually bring in because it doesn't, or it avoids a removal, but a lot of stuff that Herzi has hits it.
Well, yeah, but the thing is that it's still another threat, right?
Right.
Everything Herzi has hits everything you have. Well, not everything, but...
Oshni has a hand that they can't keep, but would really want to keep. Herzi has a hand that they probably can't afford to keep.
Yeah, this seems like the kind of hand that if you're Herzi, you just keep because this is what your deck does. Interesting that the Hungering Cult was left in. That doesn't feel exceptional in this matchup.
It's life gain.
I guess it doesn't die, but to what Oshni is doing that easily, but...
It also combos with Mishka, because apparently that's the entire combo that the deck is built around.
I feel like that's not true.
It's definitely a big part of the branding of the deck, at least.
So Oshni left in Solar Flares, which is a bit interesting.
Well, maybe...
I guess Solar Flares decent enough.
Yeah, I mean, what else are you going to bring out?
Void Flare is what you bring in instead. Or just cantrips or whatever.
So, I guess Herzi's going for turn 2 Hungering Cult, and Oshni doesn't transform Mystery this turn. Or maybe they do? No, they don't.
Not able to this turn, but this journey is a very good draw.
Yeah, maybe they journey into instant, like journey into Void Flare and then flip Mystery or something.
Somehow I don't think Void Flare is permanent.
Right, that doesn't work. Well, look, they're looking at the top. I guess they're still thinking. Maybe they're deciding between a land and a good enchantment or something.
Yeah, probably. This is a really awkward hand.
You get a land.
It's a land.
And the wrong color of land too, so that must have been a tough decision.
Yeah. I feel like you don't care too much about colors in this matchup, but...
Yeah, you want the double Solar Flare, and Plains is not helping you with that.
I guess. But, I mean, do you really care about double Solar Flare?
It kills Hungering Cult.
Yeah, I mean, I'd expected my opponent to bring out Hungering Cult in this matchup, to be perfectly honest. Like, maybe Herzi just doesn't have that much they want to bring in, because a lot of the one-ofs are probably just there for Cosmic Coalescing.
Right.
So maybe they aren't bringing this Guiding Light, they're just having it there to fetch.
Well, it does make it more likely to get Guiding Light than just bringing it in. So Oshni draws another land, and this one actually makes the mana they want. So are they going to breach the Journey Begins? Because otherwise, they're not doing anything.
Yeah, but Journey Begins doesn't hit anything that's useful.
I guess the Solar Flare flipped the Mystery and...
Well, you just pass, right?
Right. Try to trade the alien with the Hungering Cult.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's going to get blown up by Cosmic Coalescing, but that's beside the point.
Herzi can't cast Cosmic Coalescing.
Right, and
they haven't cracked it.
Did they forget to crack Shifting Crag last turn? Because the only reason that you'd be holding it up is because you want to draw into Confirm, which you don't have the right mana for either.
Yeah, and with 2 more Shifting lands at hand, definitely no need to hold it for Confirm.
And they're just going to pass. I guess they respect the Solar Flare too much to attack with Hungering Cult.
So imagine this is just Preach the Lilies, Journey Begins, and find a, what's it?
Find something to do.
Trying to find specifically Performance, I think.
I mean, a Molten Incubation is also fine, I guess.
Yeah, but in this case you don't have any gas, so Molten Incubation isn't going to be doing all that much.
Yeah. Was Herzi going to pull away Epsilon? I guess that works. No, they're going... Oh, okay, good. Okay, good. They're not pulling away the token. Now, Mystery Crashcraft is also a good hit off Journey Begins, right? Because now they need a replacement for Epsilon. Although they don't have a sorcery to trigger it.
Well, you just don't have any. Yeah, you just don't have any like deck velocity. Where like these soulfares are
Did it
kind of
whiff?
awkward in the
Oh,
matchup.
no, they didn't whiff yet. They're shuffling
Uh,
the mystery back in.
yeah, so I'm gonna guess that's gonna be a judge call. Because they need to put Epsilon on the bottom and whatever they bottom for mulligans.
Well, that's gonna be fun.
But this is definitely a good example why maybe a flaw in the deck where these soulfares are a bit necessary to have instants for mystery. But you can't so you can't exactly side them out. You do also need deck velocity in this gun deck too.
Like, what other options do you have for sides? You don't have anything else that you want to side in, so.
We side in the body, or you side in the Imperial Siege. Actually, did they have a hand that they could bring in Goth for?
Well,
I guess not, because they don't have the mana for it.
yeah.
But I think even if you don't have the mana for it, there's an argument to bring in Goth.
Well, would you rather have a card you can't cast in your hand or something you can cast?
I mean, like, the Soulfare just never does anything, right?
You can combine it with stuff to kill the 4 toughness creatures, I guess.
Specifically the 2 Hungry Golems that you don't know if he's going to like side out or not.
Right. I mean, worst case scenario, it also gains you 3 life. So it's like a really bad healing salve.
Yeah, I mean, it does definitely do that.
Like, that might get you out of Verstat's command range.
Yeah, I mean, it being castable is kind of nice. Hold on, does this deck have a second mountain? No, it doesn't.
It doesn't have any violence, right? So you can't fetch blue off your Wayfarer Shrine.
No, you cannot.
So if Oshni put in Garth here, then they couldn't cast it either.
Yeah, but eventually you're just going to hit a blue source, right? And this Journey Begins could hit a blue source.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we have knowledge that Goth would beat the nuts here, right? As he being on 4 lands and a spell that does not kill Goth in reasonable time.
Right.
So we'll give you quite a few more hits for this Journey Begins. It does give you a way to kind of break parity, force a removal spell out of Herzi.
Right.
I mean, Oshni is definitely not out of it. Performance is definitely a very scary card here. Performance is always a very scary card. They probably need to hit performance into something, since these soulfares are not castable. If you also cast performance.
I mean, I think can also just top deck something like EHS.
Yeah, that's also very easy out. Basically, any deck that plays EHS, that's just an out.
Well, not if you're super losing, but
yeah, I mean, there's a point where like you should just concede, but definitely turn 3, your opponents played a Hungering Cult and removal spell. It's not quite that bad.
And Herzi only has Cosmic Coalescing in hand. Like they're all lands otherwise, so keep drawing lands, then Herzi also just loses.
Yeah, Herzi's definitely also not in the best spot. Where I think both players are probably pretty unhappy with their position, to be completely honest. Looking at what Herzi can fetch with the Cosmic, there's not actually card draw, unless you're counting the Secrets of the Core, like what? Or this Nueva. So the Nueva is a bit away. Secrets of Core, like Core Divination is not really where you want to be. I mean, I guess this might be just worth doing. This Sealed Riftway probably ends up being the best option.
Just Sealed Riftway?
I mean, you could fetch Harder Zedina and hope to draw something more expensive.
Right.
Or Nueva and just plan for the long game.
Yeah, I would probably just get Nariba because like you have a bunch of lands in hand, so it gives you a failsafe for if you flood out. Although that might be too slow.
I think I would have liked a more. No, I guess this situation is probably pretty rare for Herzi's deck. Only beyond 25 lands. Having 7 lands and 3 spells is not really a spot that's going to be that common.
Yeah. Well, it seems like actually finally got the Judge call resolved, so you might see the game starting back up soon.
Yeah, so I think Oshni is really looking for performance into spell or just straight up EHS. Imperial Siege would also be decent enough here.
I mean, Herzi doesn't really have anything that they're super concerned about. Or
Yeah,
I mean,
but Herzi,
if lands get killed, they can just play more lands. They have enough lands in hand.
yeah, but it basically just delays the game for a turn. The Herzi deck does need a bunch of mana.
Okay, there we go. Definitely not the most lengthy judge call we had so far, at least.
So now we'll see what this journey begins. It's
After Oshni just finishes doing stuff.
yeah, I think we're in the right spot with Mystery being put on bottom. I
Yeah.
think they're probably just confirming with the judge that they've done it correctly.
Okay, there we go. The game is back up.
And the journey should finally begin.
Hey, let's see if they hit anything. They're thinking. That means they didn't whiff, at least. It also means they probably didn't get just lands.
Yeah, so probably the priority is like any of the enchantments and then probably like performance and then mystery and then incubation and then red producing land.
Unfortunate. They got their third best choice.
Yeah, I mean, Herzi definitely doesn't have an answer to the dragon. I guess this Cosmic Coalescing can grab out of body experience.
But Herzi probably doesn't want to do that.
Yeah. But I guess at the same time, this Cosmic Coalescing doesn't have that much utility in Herzi's deck. I guess fetching Shikai's Readout is kind of nice.
Yeah.
Fetching anti-magic, but
Assuming they didn't bring in all copies of anti-magic.
I can't imagine they would. It doesn't seem like they have that much to side out in this matchup.
Okay, I'll actually find taking their turn now and drawing another land. That's not an EHS.
It is a red producing land, which is nice.
They're shocking themselves. So you're not going to double Solar Flare before playing a Molten Incubation, right? Wait, so why did they...
can't. They have a planes.
Oh.
I don't know what shocking themselves does here.
Allow them to Solar Flare.
I guess, yeah, just keeping up Solar Flare so this Cold can't attack.
Ooh, Herzi draws another land.
Pretty marginal. But, I mean, both sides are flooding pretty hard, so... I guess maybe shocking yourself with utility is worth it with two Solar Flares in hand, really buffing up your life total.
Is Ashi's going to turn Solar Flare face, I guess. Or maybe they're just fetching.
I really hope they're just fetching here.
And maybe you just really want to put counters onto Molten Incubation. Or you want Solar Flares in the yard for Breach the Lilies.
Well, they can always just do it at the same turn as, right? Yeah.
Right. Well, that's more burn spells. Like, if you point out these guys at face, that is a lot of damage.
That's true.
And, like, you'll have mana to cast all of them, but...
That is just straight up half of Herzi's life total.
Yeah, but life is a resource. So if you don't get rid of all of the life, then it's not going to matter.
Yeah, but then we start talking about like EHS hitting more burn spells, and in this kind of this long of a game, Herzi does have Hungering Cult to kind of work back up slowly.
Yeah, but they can't attack with it because of the threat of Solar Flare. Oh, confirmed hypothesis. I wonder the same thing's going to happen this game too.
Yeah, hopefully Oshni can play around it.
And I don't think they can. They don't really have enough resources to play around it.
I mean, getting 5 counters in incubation will take a while.
There are only 2 counters off.
I mean, yeah, they're throwing all these burn spells immediately, but no need to throw them all out immediately.
And Herzi's also shocking themselves, so that also helps. So, what's their point in Herzi playing Sunlit Highlands untapped there? Abundant Harvest.
Gets you X equals 3 for Cosmic Coalescing?
What are you hitting with X equals 3?
That's a good question, I guess. Colorway?
Or maybe you want the Cosmic and then cast something off it?
They just hit a Solar Flare off Abundant Harvest.
Okay, that's hilarious. I mean, it's just a game making up for all the Solar Flares that Osh didn't cast in round 1.
I mean, this is 3/4 of Herzi's life now. Like, this is becoming a serious threat to Herzi surviving.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and if this dragon does go off too, without confirm messing anything up,
I'm pretty sure Herzi is always going to have confirm up.
Yeah, that would be the hope, but at the same time, keeping 2 mana up the entire game is not necessarily free.
Herzi shocked themselves to fetch a Dominion. Do they need the Dominion mana?
No. And they had mana cast every spell, right? Because this is also a Stad's mana without the Dominion.
I guess they're thinking about whether to Cosmic Coalescing now. I mean, they really want the Cosmic here because otherwise they'll just be wasting mana.
I don't think they care that much about wasting mana.
Alternatively, they could have confirmed the fetch land to get some more lands out and draw a card, but that's probably not worth
that
it.
opportunity has passed.
What utility lands? Well, Herzi doesn't run any utility lands, so yeah.
Yeah, a bit hard to run utility lands
Oh,
on
Flawless
four
World,
colors.
that's gonna put Oshni back.
Yeah, Force World is an excellent draw here. But going back to Embodied Soul.
Ooh, sacrifice to Sitar, that's gonna flip. We get to see the main interaction of the deck.
Yeah, it does flip, though at the same time, does not let you keep up Confirm Hypothesis.
I guess Herzi's gonna keep up Confirm instead.
Yeah.
And Oshni's not going to end of turn Solar Flare. I feel like they should have spent their mana there, because you have more than enough Solar Flares.
Maybe.
Just want to
I'd be
get
really
counters.
tempted.
You want to get counters out to Molten Incubation.
I'd be really tempted. Actually, I probably would just kill the Hungry Cult there.
Yeah, and that would also turn off Sacrifices as Tar. Although Oshni don't know about that.
But like, even just getting 1 damage a turn seems worth killing the Hungry Cult, to be completely honest.
Also, Oshni can't really kill Sacrifices as Tar without flipping it with their removal spells, so that's pretty funny.
Yeah. But going back to Embodied Soul, this is one of the situations where you'd be really happy to have an Embodied Soul. Where, yeah, all of Herzi's removal deals with it, but they can also just run out of removal, right?
Right. So, second Molten Incubation.
And confirm both of them.
Oshni has no way to stop Sacrifices to Tar, right?
And they can just bolt it twice.
Yeah, but like, because to stop
yeah, I guess now that they don't have mana to kill the Hungry Cult, that doesn't work. What they should really do is just Molten Incubation, deal 20, blow up the sacrifice.
Wait, does that?
Wait, gets to surveil 20.
Oh, right. It's not mill, it's surveil. If it was mill, then you could have tried to deck Herzi out, but I guess that doesn't work.
Yeah, now with the Stealth for Treasures as well, this game is starting to feel kind of too far gone.
Well, I mean, it's not like Herzi has a way to stop Oshni from killing them if Oshni draws well enough.
I guess. Yeah, I guess if Oshni solves the point burn spell's face and hits EHS for more burn spells, but they're only on 8 burn spells, right? And they've drawn half of them.
But like Breach Lilies is also burn spell, and so is.
I guess that's true. They have 8 left. And I guess Herzi doesn't actually have a way to stop Performance's third mode. Though at the same time, the Stealth for Treasures does kill reasonably quickly with Stars Command.
Yeah, I guess.
But I guess at the same time, 3 Solar Flares is kind of hard to fight through. But yeah.
So what you're hoping for is for Herzi to So what does Mishka actually do here?
No idea, especially considering the illusions die to the Hungarian Cult.
Oh, right.
So I guess it does gain 3 life, which starts to eliminate a win condition. So of course, Oshni does still have a bunch of live draws. Performance and EHS being 2 major ones.
Yeah.
So this pull away that Herzi just drew will stop Performance getting to the third mode.
Oh, Molten Incubation on top.
That's kind of funny.
I mean, 3 Molten Incubations, that's a lot of dragons, at least.
Yeah, the first will be confirmed, probably. But I guess, actually, Oshni can Solar Flare end of turn, and then Solar Flare main phase. And that actually does stop Herzi from confirming. Or rather, it doesn't fizzle the confirm, but it stops Herzi from getting a dragon.
Yeah. Oh, Breach Lilies.
Interesting that Herzi mills the incubation. I guess it's worthwhile.
Okay, is shouldn't get anything.
That's funny. The +2 is mandatory. So if your opponent has a bad card and you have a good card, you still have to.
Right. Actually, electing to
make someone will
whack Mishka for not much effect.
I mean, it'll clear up the Mishka next turn.
Yeah, I feel like Oshni should just be going for blood here, because they're not going to win in the long game.
How? I mean, they're not going to win at the burn either.
Right.
Because this Mishka does gain 3 a turn with the +1 on the Hungry Cult.
Yeah, okay.
There's more Void Flares, which is starting to be kind of funny.
I mean, if Oshni played more aggressively, then maybe this game would have just been over by now.
No. I mean, Herzi's still at 22.
Well, I mean, they killed the cult and then they started pointing burn to face.
Yeah, but killing the cult is 6 6 damage.
Well, either way, Breach the Lilies on Molten Incubation will trigger Molten Incubation.
Yeah, so because he has Confirm and Cosmic up, I guess out of body too. So these dragons will actually start to go off, since Oshni does have responses to the Confirm.
Yeah.
Um,
You get to start off with. Do you start off with Breach the Lilies on the Molten Incubation?
you're probably forced to.
They're gonna Solar Flare instead.
Uh,
I guess they
so I
wouldn't really
guess
want to kill Mishka.
now does Herzi confirm here or not?
I mean, Herzi knows that Oshni definitely has more stuff in hand, right? Because they literally saw the top of Oshni's deck. Although,
Well, they only saw the Reach abilities, right?
right, maybe they think the fact that Oshni hasn't played anything the last few turns means that Oshni's holding on to a bunch of lands.
Well, they missed a land drop last turn, right?
Right.
And I guess maybe there's an argument to like not play lands, but I think in this deck with EHS being a really good, like you really do want to get up to EHS mana.
Yeah.
EHS go less mana. There's not really any benefit to holding on to lands.
Well, now that they've reached the solar flare instead of Molten Incubation, they're already had enough removal to deal with all the Molten Incubations.
Yeah, it's starting to seem a bit hard for Austin to come back, especially with the Void Flow on top.
Yeah.
Where they really needed a EHS a while ago, or a performance, depending on when they drew it. Might have also been good enough.
I mean, this hand would have been great against the creature aggro deck, at least.
So this Cosmic is going for 1.
They're not killing the alien either.
Interesting. So I would have kind of almost expected 2 for Guiding Light. I don't know. But I'm just thinking Guiding Light does prevent a win con from Oshni.
Maybe they're getting out of body, but they already have it.
They're probably fetching land too, right?
Right, I guess that makes sense.
I'm a bit surprised that they made 3 island mountains when they have Hodges Sedina.
Right, that too. Maybe they're just lazy.
Maybe. Yeah, and they've had Hodges Sedina awkwardly. And out body hits the dragon.
Yeah.
So Oshni does have a chance to trigger the second incubation and prevent it from being confirmed. They want.
Just by pointing everything at face.
I think killing the cult also works.
Actually, yeah, okay. Yeah, they can prevent Molten Incubation from getting stolen. But pull away just deals with the dragon. And Pitbull too. Actually can't really fight through removal.
So it seems like it feels like what's going to happen here is this Delphi treasure is going to go, what, how many? 5, 9. This Delphi treasure is going to hit 7. X equals 7.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have 13 cards and they're going to have 15 looks for a stat command. Will be lethal.
How much burn did Oshni play so far?
They have 2. They've drawn half the Void Flares, at least half. 3 of the Solar Flares. So they only have 2 Void Flares and a Solar Flare left in deck if they didn't side out any of it.
Right. I think this is a good time to transform your Molten Incubation.
Actually, I think maybe what they should do here is... Hold on. This Delphi Treasures is for 8. Wait, they're tapping... That's not...
They're fixing it.
So this Delphi Treasure is for 8, and then he draws 1 for 10, so they'll have 14 cards in hand. So yeah, I guess with Sad's command just always kills, right? Even through the double Solar Flare. I was thinking you had a very cheeky play where you could, after Herzi goes for Restad's command and choose the mode, you could double Solar Flare and live, and then you draw 15.
Would that actually help you, though?
I mean, you draw 15. I haven't thought about it past that.
Sure, you draw 15, but your opponent draws 15 too, and they get to use it first.
I mean, yeah, but...
They can even double Restad's command.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Actually, how close is Herzi to decking if they Restad's command?
They'd be about 7 cards off, I think.
Like Delphi Treasures, Delphi Treasures does mill half the cards you draw, so...
Yeah, so they have 14 cards in hand. Restad's going to put them down to 13, and then they draw 14. So, actually, if Oshni did survive a Restad's command, Herzi couldn't actually... Actually, if Herzi played a second Restad's command in deck, would it be a draw? Or would Herzi just lose?
I think it'll be a draw because state-based actions are checked at the same time. or you don't lose until you check state-based actions are checked, and by that time, Oshni's at 0, and
is losing to decking a state-based action?
yeah, I think so.
Feels off, because when you check state-based actions, don't you only check when nothing is happening?
I think you check, yeah, you check if nothing's happening. So, or when you draw
I
from an
guess you
empty
check.
deck, the next time state-based actions be checked, you lose or something.
Okay, so I guess that makes sense. So it would be a draw if this specific scenario happened and Herzi had like one less card in hand. So I think Herzi might have mana for Cosmic Coalescing plus Anti-Magic,
Right.
which they certainly have mana with Sudina.
7 red. Oh, I guess they're softening up Oshni with Cosmic Coalescing first.
Feels a bit overkill. Does prevent that potential line, but
We get Shikazu's out, which is something they can actually use right now. Oh, and Restad's command comes out.
yeah, and this will be a 26 or so. Or 20. Yeah, but that was a pretty sad game too. I don't know.
I mean, could Oshni have prevented that? Or could Oshni have played differently to change the outcome?
I mean, sideboarded differently. I mean, we were talking about bringing in Goth as one option. I mean, maybe they did set out some burn and they just got unlucky. But definitely, this is a bit of a rough matchup to sideboard in. You do have 4 cards to bring in with Embodied Sworn and Pure Siege.
Yeah.
And that would have definitely helped at least a little bit if you saw that burn there. This kind of speaks how important sideboards can be.
Yeah.
But really, I implore you to find sideboard cards for Naya in this matchup.
Yeah, okay.
Don't say Fog Spear. Fog Spear would be disastrous for this deck.
Zakar, I guess?
And that breaks Goth. Goth seems better than Zakar.
Silence? No, that doesn't work.
Silence seems really bad in this matchup.
Fade?
Fade and the EHS deck. I tried it, it wasn't good.
Okay, yeah.